Hello everybody, today I'm sharing with you some altered photo slides. I was recently sent some of these plastic retro style photo slides from Bonny, who is Bonny and Clive on YouTube. She sells these in her store. She has an Etsy store and I will put a link to that in the description box below. What I did was I just got a pen, and they come apart quite easily. Just find the point. There we go. Take them apart like that. The negative actually pops out very easily on these. So if you want to decorate these up and change up the negative with a bit of acetate or something like that, or pop something else in, that's how easy it is to do. I'm just going to put that back in because that one has a flower design on it and I want to probably use that in an upcoming project I'm making, and I think that one has a flower pattern on it as well. So I'll put those apart. What I thought you could do, and these have fashion images on them, so I thought a use for doing these might be to just pop them into your embellishments. I wouldn't probably use a full one like that because to me that it would look too dark, but I mean that's up to the individual. But I think by using a slither of it tucked into a part of an embellishment you might be making, and just seeing this little perforated part at the top would give the a really nice impression. Anyway, so that's how you take them apart. Once you take them apart, well, this is once I took mine apart. I covered mine in some music paper, this particular one, and then I went around the edges with some white chrome acrylic paint, as you can see, just around the inside edge there and the outside edges, both front and back. I let that dry, and it's easy enough then just to pull it apart again and start doing what you want to do with it. So I'll show you the projects that I made. I'm not sure if I've made anything new. I didn't go looking for things already made with slides. I just sort of made a little list of my own. A couple of ladies mentioned a couple of things in my video where Bonny sent these things to me. I had kind of got those on the list, but thank you ladies anyway. And I'll just show you what I've put together for these slides. Now the first thing is a very simple idea. It's just to have one of the slides on a book page inside your journal, you know, attached into your journal. You put the front on one side, have a piece of acrylic in the center and the other one on the other side, so that if you have a design on the following page, it will capture that little picture and give it a focal point for this particular page. And when you go over like that, you might have something on the previous page as well. It's just a fun idea for book pages, and I'll keep that and I'll be able to insert that into a future journal as well. I'm not actually working on one, well, I'm working on a couple, but I'm just at that thing where you throw pieces in a basket. I've been doing it for months, so I'll put this in the basket also, so that when I come to making the journal I can use that. So that's the first thing I did. The second thing I did was I made a charm, and that's this one here. I have a chandelier crystal down the bottom. I put acetate, 2 pieces of acetate, and I've sandwiched a piece of pretty lace inside of there. All the laces that I've used on these projects are actually from the Crafty Me shop. They're from my, where is it? My jar of snips. All the little bits that I've been cutting off the laces and trims, I have put into that jar, and I've used those on these projects here. So I've just got a ring at the top there. I have a pearl, then I have the chandelier crystals, and they're actually from BB Craft. And then I've just decorated the front and back in the same manner, and I really like the way that's turned out. I've also put some pretty little beads in there as well, just to add a little extra bit of sparkle. And I was so pleased with how the crocodile went straight through these, even when they were doubled, just straight through them. It was so easy. So that was very nice to know how easily that went through there. So that's the first thing, or the second thing I've put together. The third thing I've made is a little shaker. Now I've never made a shaker before. It does shake. I'll show you up close there. I guess these are the sorts of things you just put in as a little gift or something. I'm not sure of their purpose other than just looking pretty or cute. And once again, I've used the laces from Crafty Me Shop, a few of my vintage flowers and stamens. And how I made that was I just opened up my, I just opened up my slide like I did before. There we go. And I got some cardstock and I traced around it on the cardstock, and then I cut the center out, and I did quite a few layers to give it that depth. And then I inserted acrylic on one side. I built up the layers, put my little beads and sequins inside, and then glued the top piece on with another piece of the acetate. And then I've just gone around it with some of my stickles, and this is mercury glass, and it's not meant to be full coverage. I've just gone like that around it just to add a bit of sparkle and finish it off. So that's a little shaker that I've made with the slides. The next thing I've made is it's a tag, and I've used one of the slides. I just took it apart and laid it on top of this cheesecloth, and I've used it like a frame to frame these lovely vintage flowers. I thought I had no more of these ones left, but I found one last one of that one, and then I had these ones that were very similar. So I've just framed them up and made it look all pretty. I've used these pieces here of the Crafty Me Shop trim, and I put one on the back and one on the front, so it's quite strong. I've used a piece of cardstock, gone over it with some tea-stained paper, then music paper on the front, and just stitched around the edge. And then I've glued on a variety of little beads in places. Now I thought that's a nice tag, but it would also actually make a nice journal cover, just to, you know, put it aside, and when I'm ready to make a journal cover, I could actually put that on the front to make a pretty journal cover. So I'm undecided whether I'll use it as a tag or a journal cover, but that's another use for the slides. And the next thing I made were some paper clips. I've just put pictures in these slides, and I just did that by opening up the slide and putting a picture in place of the negative. I've covered it with music paper, and once again I've used all my little snips to go around. A few beads, some stickles. I've done a little bit of stitching on both of them, as you can see, and I've just made them into paper clips like that, so they just slide onto the page very easily. And I would probably put those, you know, at the side of a page like that, so that these bits may hang out of the a journal or something like that. But either way, you know, they're not two-dimensional at all. They're really not. So that was the next thing I made. And then the last thing I put together, let me just take those off, so that's, there we go. The last thing I put together was a tiny little book or journal. And this has got made with 2 of the slides. I've done Coptic stitch, which is the first time I've tried that, down the side there. So it might not be perfect, but it was fun to try out. And to close it, I've used one of these clips. And it just fits. I've painted it a little bit because it was black. I've covered it in some tea-stained paper. And then I've gone around it with some, just a bit of fabric scrap that I had, just part of a seam, and a flower from Crafty Me Shop. I have sandwiched a piece of the lace on the front cover there, in between 2 acetate pieces, and the back cover I just have some scrapbooking paper sandwiched in there, just to finish that off. You could, and what I wanted to do but forgot, was put like the end or finished or something like that, you know, or some wording at the back there. So that's the front, and this is a very simple little journal, and it's just a series of, and I do like this this stitching method, I really do. It's a series of little bits of paper, but each piece opens up, and I've just decorated it very simply. There's a little flower and a sequin there, you can see. And that side opens up as well, just so there's a little bit more space to write. If you want to, there's a little tuck spot here with a piece of paper folded like an envelope, and that just tucks in there. I had to keep it quite flat, otherwise the bulldog clip would not fit. That's the center of the first signature. And just some scraps of the paper that were left over. And this one opens up this way. Another flower. And we have a little tuck spot here with a tiny little tag that I've made. And it just tucks under that bit of music paper. And it opens up. Opens up. Just a scrap of lace. Opens up. And then we're going back the other way. That's the center of the second signature. Just a bit of ribbon and sequins. And then on the back cover, I just have a little tuck spot pocket, and in the little window area, because it indents in a little bit, I was able to fold a piece of tea stain paper quite small to fit in there. There we go. So that was nice to be able to fit that little bit, and it fits nice and snugly inside that window. And that's my little journal using the photo slides, and this is my little closure. Like I said, it just fits, so there wasn't much room to be putting anything else in there at all. There we go. Goes like that. Straighten it up. And there we go. So I hope you like what I made with the slides. It was fun to you know, try and come up with some ideas. I don't know. I honestly don't know whether these things have been done before or not. I didn't go around looking. I don't like to go around looking at other people's things, you know, I like to think that I've just done it. I'm not saying it hasn't been done before, but I like the idea that I've, you know, thought about it myself. So there we go. Thank you, Bonnie, for that challenge. That was fun, and I have a couple left over. These ones here left over. Like I said, that I kept the flower ones because I want to do like some sort of gardening journal or floral or botanical kind of journal, and I thought they may come in handy for that. And I'm sure you will see these little pieces used in embellishments at some stage as well. Okay, so take care everybody. Bye bye.